Welcome everybody again. Today we are here with Lynne Sadowski, who is the owner of CAMU, running a great organization over there, getting all kinds of education for the managers for in-person events all across Florida. Welcome, Miss Lynne.
Hi there, Carrie. How are you today?
I'm great. And I'm glad to finally have you here because you and I have been chatting a little bit, and I'm excited to hear all about what you guys have going on at CAMU.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here as well.
So first, let's give me a little bit of background about how CAMU started.
Oh my. Backstory. I started about 3 years ago, pre-COVID, with a friend of mine, and I started a group called Ascend, and it was an alliance for stronger communities through education, networking, and development. And we were doing some things in Orlando and some things in Tampa, and then she got pregnant. We went our separate ways, and which was great because she had her baby, and it's been great for her. And so I ended up launching CAM University, and took it kind of to a whole new level. Very exciting. What we do is it's an organization that provides education and resources to community association managers and board members, predominantly CAMs, but we do help out board members as well. And much like you do, but we do everything in person. We don't really do any virtual. So it's a complement to what you do. I vet all of the sponsors or the vendors that are in the organization. They're members of my organization. And I call them campuses because it's a university. We have campuses in Orlando, Tampa, and this month we will be launching our inaugural campus, our opening in Jacksonville, Florida. So we're real excited about that. As a matter of fact, it's totally shocked me, but we are completely sold out with a wait list in Jacksonville. So I'm very, very excited. I think they want it and need it up there.
Yeah.
What we do is we host predominantly their luncheons where we do CEUs, and sometimes it's not a CEU, sometimes it's just great training, great educational resources for the CAMs. The CAMs get to come for free. They get amazing luncheons. We try different locations, different restaurants to give them a little variety.
Yeah.
We do it once a month. Sometimes we do hold social events, and sometimes they're just cocktails and happy hours, and sometimes they're more activity based, just depending on what's going on. In Orlando, we do an annual, it's a summer bash / mini trade show. We did it at Margaritaville last year. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. We're going to be doing it there again this year. We're real excited about that. It's a blast. We had like 160 CAMs that registered for it. It was pretty crazy.
Are you kidding me?
No, it was amazing.
Wow.
But now we're going to be launching into more, we'll be doing what I call satellite campuses to do some testing in different areas like Daytona, Cocoa Beach, probably down South Florida, maybe up in Ocala, maybe even up in the Panhandle, just to kind of go in there and do some things where maybe some CAMs that are not necessarily getting all of the education that they need, and not necessarily just for their CEUs, but really we want to provide a resource to the CAMs and giving them great business partners to do business with, and education and fun and excitement. So we're going to be going all over the state. We do focus, much like you, on the Florida, the Florida legal aspect of it. We want to kind of keep that to the state of Florida for now. And then I have an executive advisory board because I'm not a CAM. And even though I know a lot about it, I haven't lived it and breathed it like, the CAMs have. So I have an executive advisory board that consists of, they come from multiple different management companies, and they are higher level, senior level CAMs that really get together and advise me on what the needs are, what's missing, what is it they need out there.
We added you to the CAM Matrix events. Well, like I added all the L&L expos and all the different expos around town. And then we also added the CAMU events to our events area. So
thank you.
If anyone is interested in attending CAMU, they can always go on the CAM Matrix to find when, and then there's a link there that takes them to your site where they can register.
Register for the
Yeah, I don't even have the RSVP open. That's because I don't want them to come to me going, I RSVP. No, I said, nope, Lynn handles that. That's her event, not mine. I'm just promote it. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
we're actually working on, and it's supposed to be coming up real soon. We're working on revamping our website as well. And we can put in a section there to promote your virtual events as well, and some of the things that you're doing.
Oh, thank you. So let's talk about who you have doing classes this year, because you and I kind of need to get together anyway on this, because we're going to try to avoid giving the same classes, because this is the year that they're like getting their license renewed.
Right.
So this is a big year. What I would say to people is, look, if you're in a certain area and you want in-person events, you got to let us know. And then I'll give Lynne the information. And if she gets enough from certain, finding out where everybody's located, if there's enough people interested, it might be worth it for you guys to go and do an event somewhere kind of.
Absolutely. I know that's a fact. If the need is there, we will go.
Okay. Tell me about the presentation that Brian just did. Do you have another one in Jacksonville coming up? I don't want you to give away.
Correct. Yes. We do have, we're doing this. He's doing the same presentation. It's Brian Lancaster from Stratus Roofing. He is also a former police officer and SWAT team SWAT operator, they call them. So he has put together an active shooter preparedness class. It's currently not a CEU, but I know that he wants to create it so that it is a CEU.
Yeah.
He's going to be teaching it in Jacksonville at Cam University. It's a really great class. It's hard to watch. I'll be honest. It kind of gets you choked up, and because there's a few like 911 calls that they don't do the whole thing. He doesn't play the whole thing, but it's enough to get you to understand, to really empathize and feel what it's like. And I think even though that's hard, it's very important, because when you feel that feeling, it makes you realize how important it is to be prepared. It's a little, hard, but at the same time, I think everybody should absolutely go through it. So we are doing that in Jacksonville. And then in Orlando on Tuesday next week, it's the 3 T's of telecommunications. And it's taught by Don Johnson of Paradigm Broadband. And he basically is a broker, or he's like a broker, like an insurance broker. You go to them and they'd find the best policy for you. Same idea. Associations would go to him, and he would reach out to all the different, cable, internet, broadband services, and get them a package deal that saves all the homeowners a ton of money. And in some instances, he gets a check back to the association. They actually get money from it, get a good package, and they don't have to pay him. He gets paid through, whatever service provider ends up giving him. It's great. And so he's going to be talking about the 3 T's of telecommunications, and that's going to be at Taverna Opa. We're going in Orlando. We're doing an around the world theme this year. And so we'll be going to Greek and then Mexican. We're doing Taco Tuesday in March. So we'll be exploring some different foods, varieties, Italian, Brazilian, Cuban, just some really fun places. So I try to find restaurants that either have a separate room and it's completely quiet in that separate room if they have another lunch going on, or restaurants that aren't open during the day. In Tampa, we're rotating between probably 3 different restaurants this year. Fleming's, to have that fine dining steakhouse restaurant, just did Seasons 52, which was awesome. It was just a nice meal, very different and really good. Next month in Tampa, we're going to Maggiano's. So I'm excited about Maggiano's because we're going to actually go back to the family style. So we're excited about that. And then in Jacksonville, we're going to be at Fogo de Chao. They're very equipped for large scale events like this up there. And I'm pretty excited. I think they're going to be pretty sharp with it. They have been so far. Events coordinators can sometimes be challenging to deal with, especially in the ways of today with the turnover in hospitality staffing. It's been a little challenging, but there are, and so I really try to, I don't just book the restaurant and go, okay, I'm going to show up. I book the restaurant. I talk to the restaurant, the banquets coordinator multiple times. I go visit the restaurant. We walk through so that and then I get there 2 hours before my event to make sure that everything's set up right, that everybody understands how I want it to run. I'm very meticulous about how my events are run.
And you have to be, because for those of you guys that don't know this, like what happens with a lot of these restaurants is they'll have one person that's setting everything up for you. And even if they do like an online portal where you're setting everything up, you still have to make that interaction with the person that's going to be there the day of the event, because a lot of these event coordinators aren't even there. It's a lot that you do.
Yes,
it's a lot. People
it
need
is.
to realize what all you go through.
It is. And I'm very grateful for the vendors, the members of my organization, the sponsors of the luncheons, because I have several, especially Bear Paint. Bear Paint's phenomenal. They show up, they send 2 or 3 reps early to meet me when I get there and help me with everything. And it's such a blessing. And so, you know, I do have great people. As a matter of fact, one of the things before we do get into the education, I do go through I can't promise what they're going to do because it's not my company, but I do go through vetting. I interview the people that are going to be members of CAM University. I talk to them specifically about their businesses. When I'm interviewing the vendors who are going to be a potential member of CAM University, I'm looking for certain traits, you know, and you know, you can't always tell, you try. I want somebody that's good about following up with the customers, with the clients, with the CAMs. I want to make sure that their company has a good reputation. I look at their reviews for their company. They have a membership with me, and if it isn't working out, or if I get a lot of complaints from CAMs, I don't immediately say, you're out. You know, I want to go to them and say, hey, listen, there's been some complaints. Let's talk about it. What can we do? Because if I can't provide good, I've got to protect the CAM University reputation. And so I want to provide the CAMs with the best resources possible. And sometimes, most of the time they work out, sometimes they don't. And you know, and sometimes we have to part ways. Doesn't mean they're bad people or necessarily bad companies. It just wasn't a good fit necessarily. So I do want to emphasize that that's important to me. I can't promise that they're going to do everything spectacularly because I don't run their company, but yeah. I do try to bring them great resources. And sometimes I have requests from CAMs for a certain service that I don't have a member that provides that service. But I do have a big Rolodex of people. That's old school, right? Rolodex.
A lot of people still have them.
That's
showing our age.
Yeah, well, no, I really don't physically have one, but you know, in my spreadsheets and in my knowledge bank, I do know a lot of people, and I know people who know people. So I will reach out and try to find them somebody that could do these kind of things that you would recommend, and through that, I help try to at least get them some help, because I like to be a good resource, as I'm sure you do as well, because that's what we're here for. We're not here just to, you know, be a pretty face, even though we both are. You know, we want to be a resource to the community association professionals and the board members that are out there. But let's talk about education. Some of the classes we're going to be teaching in the variety of cities we'll be in, and these are just some of them. Again, we talked about the active shooter preparedness, the 3 T's of telecommunications. And I know you've had, Carrie, Tara Stone from Stone Claims on, and she's got a couple of classes that she's going to be teaching at CAM University in various cities. One of them is navigating condominium claims, and another one is negotiating for community associations, which she actually taught that in Tampa last summer. She's great. She's a great presenter for sure. Now we've also got Chad Bass from Lake Pros, and he's going to be teaching a class about ponds and lakes. And Arias Bossinger is a community association law. It's Sonia Bossinger and Carlos Arias. They will be teaching several classes throughout the year in several of the cities that we're in. Pets and communities, always a good one, exciting. Yep. They're going to be teaching a class on fiduciary duties. They're also going to be teaching a class on contracts. Some of the other classes, we're going to be doing a construction defect class in Jacksonville. Most likely we'll be doing a construction defect class in Orlando as well. The Orlando one will be taught by Jason Bruce of Persiano, Berry, Bruce, Demetriades, and Simon. They are a construction defect law firm, whereas the one we're teaching in Jacksonville is actually going to be taught by a construction company that goes in and fixes things when there's a construction defect lawsuit. So it'll be a little bit different, you know, and I'm hoping maybe we can even have, like, the lawyer can speak as a guest speaker, you know, as a guest.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right. Right. Because Stratus is putting together their RFP for roofing class, then that will be taught as well. They will also be teaching their Roofing 101 class. We have an accountant, Bill Demers from William Demers and Company out of Tampa, and he's going to be teaching an accounting class. I'm sure that's going to be thrilling. No offense to him.
You know what?
It's just not exciting.
Sometimes it can be because these guys get so like they want to learn about how to properly put the budgets together and everything.
True.
So that actually
good point. That's a very good point. Well, some of the other education we're going to be offering some plumbing classes, paint classes. I really am excited about the ponds and lakes one because Chad Bass is one of our newest members in Tampa, and he's been with me in Orlando since I started, even back with Ascend. And he is an extraordinary man. He's young. He's only like 32, 33 years old. He has been dealing with ponds and lakes all his life, and not just because his last name is Bass, but it is truly his passion. But anyway, so lots of great classes, probably going to have CIT, which is a bank. They'll be doing some classes on loans and things like that. So everything that you really need, we're going to have insurance, we're going to have loans, we're going to have, kind of all of those things. There was something I wanted to share with the audience.
Okay, what is that?
So one of the things that CAM University did last year is, and what we're expanding upon this year, is we were doing audio podcasts. They're so much fun. Last year, what we would do is the podcast is no more than 20 minutes long. And I have a co-host who is a former radio guy from Minnesota. He's awesome. And he and we interview the vendors, and we talk to them about what they do, what they specialize in, and how it helps community association managers. It's a very engaging 20-minute. It goes by really, really quickly. And the nice thing about it being audio is that a CAM or a board member could be driving in their car and listening and
even at their desk.
Right. They don't have to be watching. So it's a nice alternative, and then it's a lot of fun, and it's very valuable.